Yeah, my name is Gudju. Yeah, people formerly know me as Seith Fourmile, but my traditional name. The work that I'm doing at the moment is agriculture, and agriculture is actually looking at re-vegging the rainforest when using traditional bush foods, but also looking at traditional bush foods in an urban landscape, as well as matching up all the corridors and linking all the corridors that are in an urban situation, linking them with the rainforest itself as well.
Okay. And could you maybe explain how you came into getting involved with this work? What sort of inspired you to go down this path?
Well, I was at a conference at 14 years ago, and my partner, Jenny Lynch, we were both at the same conference, but we were talking about utilising rainforest and bush food products and stuff, and she was asking me what he was doing. And he said, yeah, we do it, but we only do it on a cultural or tribal thing. And so we got together like another 14 years later, and we came up with the idea of agriculture. And agriculture was actually looking at the food source and the bush foods and the medicinal plants, and actually going out and to really put a database together for all those products. But one thing that led me to go into it even further was I had a stroke, and because I had a stroke, the doctor actually said to me, Western food is killing you, and Western food is killing the people. So I thought, wow, after this, I'm going to need to go back into the rainforest and start looking at some bush foods and bush medicines. And so continue that journey to do that. And so we looked at doing a nursery, which we've got in our backyard as well. So we put that together, but we also looked at the possibilities of bringing back the native wildlife as well. So it's not just the food and for ourselves, but also reconnecting food for the native wildlife that are there, and some of them are becoming rare species. So we were looking at wanting to replant back into rainforest to actually help those species to, I suppose, be more custom and have that product there for them, food. So it was not only food for us, but food for nature.
And where would you like to see the agriculture project? Do you have a sort of future, sort of 5-year plan, or do you see something, or is there a project that you're particularly working towards at the moment that you'd like to see realised?
Yeah, well, what we're actually looking at is probably getting a bit of eco-balance. Because at the moment, people take natives and any natives from around Australia and plant them in different areas. And that actually disengages the balance of nature. And so we want to make people aware in Australia that a particular plant is really from this area. And if it's not in the area that it's from, then the plants or the native plants and animals from that region aren't being helped to survive. So if you took a plant, say from Western Australia and brought it over here to Queensland and stuff, the imbalance is just not there, because then the native animals that are here for the first couple of years would probably not go anywhere near that plant until they got used to it and found out what it was. But then that particular plant might need to regenerate an ecosystem on the other side, of Australia. And so we've been doing this now for a while, for the last 250 years, since British colonisation here, where they brought their plants from overseas as well that are here. But now some of those plants are becoming notable weeds. And so there's the old thing of they're becoming feral weeds, feral animals and stuff like that. But we're trying to get that equilibrium and that balance back in nature. So here in Brisbane, if we look at the urban landscape, which is great, but try to put back some of the natives.
FoodCHI today, what were your thoughts on the Grow project, and was there anything in particular that stood out today that you feel like in the future you might collaborate with, or sort of inspired you?
Um, every presenter that we're here today, I think, had things that inspired me in looking at different ways of looking at food, and especially within their region. Now, Daisy from Hong Kong, seeing, how they're looking at the issue of waste and food waste as well in their area, and how they can combat that, and looking at the population. And also to add too with Seattle and what they're doing there, there's a lot of things that, on a global atmosphere, a lot of people are looking at how do we improve the way we either eat or we look after the waste that we are putting out into the environment. And it also looking at healthy foods and making it healthy. And what her name? From Czechoslovakia.
Makita.
Yeah. Makita actually, her food with hot, food sauce and stuff like that. Now hot carrot, like sauce. I think that was amazing because I saw the joy while looking at it, what she's done with homeless people in preparing and making their own sauce. The joy they got out of it on their faces. So it's sort of healthy. So there's the part of food helping us in being healthy as well, but the food also helping the environment, and not just the environment here, but also global. So there's lots to talk about, in regards to food, and what Jazz was saying and reflecting on the actual project. It's amazing, and I can't wait till the project's completed, if it ever will be completed, because I think it's a continuum. We just keep going and get bigger and broader. But no, it was great.
Awesome. Great. Thank you very much. Thanks.